So lastly, I'd like to introduce our guest teacher today, Bhante Rahula. He, when he was younger, he served a 3-year stint in the U.S. Army and then traveled throughout Europe and Asia. Eventually, he encountered Tibetan lamas in Nepal, and after a month-long meditation course, began earnestly seeking spiritually fulfilling life. He studied yoga in India, and then traveled south and began learning about Theravada Buddhism. Bhante Rahula became a Buddhist monk in 1975 in Sri Lanka and lived there for 11 years. After that, he lived at the Bhavana Society in West Virginia, and where he served as vice abbot until 2010. And now he is the director and principal teacher at the Pranisha Lion of Wisdom Meditation Center in Maryland. He regularly teaches and conducts retreats, including retreats integrating yoga, breathing, and exercises with Vipassana meditation. His approach to meditation emphasizes mindfulness of the body, and we are so grateful to have you visiting with us today. So thank you all, and thank you, Bhante Rahula.
Who's the person who knows about this? I don't know if it's on or not.
John. John?
I'll go get that.
Oh, he's at the registry. It should be on. I think he's turned it on. We might want to.
He said press this button. There's no indication.
Katie's got to check for us.
Anyway, just a note about the recording thing. So these recordings are not going to be linked to CNN News or the FBI. So hopefully, not too much to worry about. Okay, so I welcome you all for this one-day, rather called not a retreat necessarily, but you might say more appropriately like a workshop. Some of the things we'll be doing you may not be familiar with in specifics and so on. And the title of this workshop is, the body-mind connection, or the integration of the body and mind. A lot of times, people, even in meditation circles, treat the body as one thing and the mind as another thing, and they think meditation is just to do with the mind, or other people are more focused on just the body. But actually, I tend to see it as, a body-mind, not a body and mind, but body-mind, and that they're intimately interconnected and intertwined, and they each affect the other. The body affects the mind affects the body, and only at the very highest levels of meditation could you so-called separate the body from the mind. But for all intents and purposes, they're very interconnected. Now let me see the hands of those who don't really meditate too much, or don't have a kind of a daily meditation, or consider themselves a beginner. Only a couple people, few people, okay? So, in this, as she mentioned in this morning, because it's just a short time before the lunchtime, we're going to be focusing on a practice of sitting, standing, and walking. And I'd rather call it awareness rather than meditation, because meditation is like an umbrella word that can mean a lot of different things. But when you use the term awareness, awareness is basically awareness. It means alertness to the present moment, and what we're doing in the present moment, what is going on around through our mind in the present moment. And then after the lunch, I'll be giving a longer Dhamma talk, and then followed by, again, a session of sitting, standing, and walking. And I don't see those as separate practices, but it's a continuation of awareness from the sitting position, remaining mindful as you stretch your legs out and come up into the standing position, and then feel being aware of the standing body and in the mind in the standing position, and then going into walking from there. So you get a sense of awareness being a flowing, continuous phenomena rather than doing different things. So in the practice of meditation, basically the mindfulness practice, mindfulness basically is a word that means to remember, but specifically the present moment. So we're remembering what this body is doing in the present moment, what our mind is doing in the present moment. But it's more difficult to observe our mind because it's like a slippery fish. It moves so quickly, and our emotions and thoughts are changing so quickly. And so that's why we use the body as the entryway or doorway for being able to more clearly observe our feelings, thoughts, and emotions as they are constantly arising with the changing conditions, and hopefully not to be dragged away by them or dragged under by our arising emotions and habitual thoughts. So the body is used as an anchor, like the anchor of a ship. And the body is always in the present moment. The mind is always running between the past and the future. And actually moving between the past and the future is what creates time. When the mind is in the present moment, virtually then the sense of the past and future are just thoughts arising in our mind. And the present moment is really all that there really is. And the natural vibration of our consciousness is what we call present moment awareness. But so the first stage of meditation is to gradually bring the attention to the present moment of the body and the breathing. So those two things, the physical body, the posture itself, as well as the breathing that's going on in the middle of that, we use that as the grounding or centering focus of present moment awareness, and then gradually be able to observe and feel the various stimulations or thoughts that are moving through that awareness. And so meditation there's two aspects of meditation. Meditation is 50% physical and 50% mental. And what I mean by the physical is that the body and the nervous system affects our mind. So to keep the posture straight, especially in the sitting posture, is important because everything flows through our nervous system. All your senses coming through, sound, sight, smell, taste, they're moving through the nervous system along the major nerves along the spine, where it comes to the brain, and you have consciousness. So keeping the spinal column straight and head is consider it like electrical circuits. And electricity is what's flowing through neurons and other electromagnetic energies and cellular vibrations. So that, by keeping the posture straight, helps to keep that system in the most alert state. And so the first thing that happens when you're sitting is gravity grabs the jaw and starts pulling it down, because the muscles in our neck are normally weak, but we're not mindful of it, and subtly, before we know it, the chin is down like this, and we're either half asleep or lost in our daydreams. So that's why attention to the posture is even more important than attention to the breathing in the beginning, or equally as important. So, because if you're sitting straight, then meditation becomes very easy. The three main hindrances to meditation are sleepiness. The biggest enemy to meditation is sleepiness. The second one is the distraction through discomforts and pain. You're kind of worrying about this pain, this ache, or this itch, and the mind stays distracted. And then, if sleepiness or pains don't get you, then just the incessant obsessive thoughts that are continually coming up in the mind, thoughts about the future, worry, anxiety, desires, aversion, dredging up memories. So those three, what we call hindrances, are really the main objects of meditation in the beginning, because until you are not distracted by those three main types of hindrances, meditation is not going to go anywhere. So attention to the posture and keeping the posture straight, whether you're sitting on a chair or sitting on the floor, is again it's half of the meditation. And then also, when you're aware of the posture, you'll much more easily feel the breathing, because the breathing is the predominant function of movement that's occurring within the body. You feel the expanding and contracting movements of the abdomen or the rib cage or the chest. You try to feel the subtle touch of the clothing as it expands and contracts. You can feel those subtle rubbing, frictional sensations of the cloth touching different parts. And so that's what you kind of listen to. And there's so many of different ones, and it helps to keep you awake, again, to the present moment. So that's what we're going to be sort of working on, especially in this first morning session, learning how to continually bring the attention back when it's gotten carried away or distracted by one of those three hindrances, and to bring it back to remember, oh yes, sitting. And when we mean by sitting, that means you feel like whether your buttocks are pressing the seat. Again, whether you're in a chair or on the ground, feel that weight of the body, 80 or 100 pounds or more, pushing into the seat, or where your feet press the floor. Either of those, or even both of those, how the legs are crossed underneath for those sitting on the floor. And where your hands touch. And even where the clothing touches the skin again. And even the head, feeling the head balanced on top. So you kind of let the attention kind of float and alternatively feel those different sensations. That gives the sense of a sitting body, and it keeps the mind awake. So you're not focusing only on one specific object, but within that focus, there's a number of different things that you can notice. If you can't feel the breathing, there's something else you can notice when your hands are touching together. So that's what we call the present moment, the underlying, ongoing, or bottom line, or ground zero, right? Everyone likes the term ground zero. So ground zero to the present moment in this practice is the body pressing the floor, or the breathing body. Because the whole world comes and goes through this breathing body. And this breathing body is really where you live. You might live in a house somewhere, but that's to entertain your friends and other things, but you really live in this body with its nervous system. So that's the kind of sort of attitude we want to cultivate in the practice of the awareness. And then also the breathing. I know there's a lot of you practice meditation in different places, and usually the teachers tell you, don't control the breathing, don't control the breathing. But that would be all right if we breathe properly in the first place. But because of many underlying factors, most people have short and shallow breathing, and it's not the most helpful type of breathing there is. And so because I studied yoga in India, and the teacher I studied with, his main emphasis was on developing rhythmic, deeper, slower, and rhythmic breathing, where you take several seconds just to breathe in and feel that kind of expansion of the breath from the abdomen up, filling up the whole lungs, holding the breath in a couple of seconds to allow the air in the lungs to get into the bloodstream, and then feel that relaxing out breath. It's very, a very harmonious type of rhythm once one is able to develop that. And so that also becomes a very good focus of the present moment. Anybody have any questions up to this point? You can just raise your hand specifically about what I might have been mentioning.
May I just mention with the expansive breathing, for myself, I think fear comes up because I feel very vulnerable in being that clear and open, and but then.
But the fear will vanish later.
You're right, yeah.
When you experience the joy and the openness and the aliveness of that experience.
Yes, to kind of dare yourself.
And also, we are not doing that breathing the whole time.
Yeah.
As I'll be guiding you through this. We start with the first few minutes of that, and then if you get tired any time of that, just let it go and let the breath go back to its normal pattern. But later on, some minutes later, especially if you start feeling a little drowsy or the mind is too much carried away in thought, you come back and take a few deep, slow breaths. Deep, slow breath is, one of the most powerful and excellent ways of just recentering the attention, in the body. So, people are hardly ever told about doing deep, slow breathing. But it's, wonderful. So, but before we start the actual sitting meditation, we're going to stand up now. Because usually I encourage people to lead through people some very simple, a few breathing and standing, stretching exercises, just to kind of awaken the cellular vibrations in the body, so you hopefully have a little better circulation. So just relax your arms and hands at the side. And for those of you standing in the chair rows, every other person maybe take a step forward, because we're going to moving our arms like this, and not to hit somebody else's hands. Spread yourself out a little bit. So gently close the eyes and feel your feet pressing the floor. And imagine or feel the weight of the body pressing the feet to the floor. You can feel the height and weight of the body over the feet. Feel the arms and hands hanging at the sides, the head on top. And just remind yourself of standing. Present moment of the body. And then begin some deep, slow breathing. Try to take 2 or 3 seconds just to slowly breathe in, expanding your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs, 2 or 3 seconds. Feel that pause, and then the slow, relaxing out breath. And 2 or 3 more breaths like that. At the end of each out breath, just feel the feet pressing the floor. Remind yourself of standing. Now in these exercises, we coordinate them with the same breathing. We do the movement while breathing in. Hold a position for about 2 seconds, and then return to the starting point on the out breath. And repeat each one 3 times. It's quite easy. You should be able to do it without much problem. You can open the eyes and just kind of observe like you do through it. So on the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fists, turn the palms up, stretch your head back, stretch the arms up as you breathe in. On the out breath, turn the palms down and touch the top of the head on the out breath. The in-breath, palms up, straighten the arms, stretch the head back. Out breath, palms down, touch the top of the head. Again, in breath, palms up, straighten the arms, stretch the head back. Now release your fingers on the out breath, arms back to the sides. Just relax. Gently close the eyes, focus inside, try to feel the increased sensations, pulsation, especially in your fingers. The increased kinetic energy, cellular vibration, the oxygenation of the blood. Just remember standing. Just let your thoughts go. Let the thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keep the feeling of the body in the front and be aware. Now on the next in-breath, push up on the toes while raising the arms up in this way. Over the head, stretch up. Out breath, back down. Use the breath to help lift and lower the body, like blowing up a helium balloon. Out. In. Out. Relax. Just keep feeling the body, the feet pressing the floor, the arms and hands at the side. Clothing touching the skin, stomach, chest. The head balanced on top. So the present moment awareness. Next we'll do side bending using both arms. So on an in-breath, raise both arms up. Keep your arms and fingers straight and close to the head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. In-breath, lift back up straight. Pause a moment. And the out-breath, other side. In breath up. Again to the right, out breath. In in, out. In. Once more to the side. And out breath, lower the arms. Relax. Keep feeling the feet pressing the floor. Don't give the mind time to wander to the past or future. The body's always right there, beneath your nose. 100 or more pounds of pulsating, vibrating, organic, alive. Now lightly press the front of your legs with your hands and fingers. And on an in-breath, turn the palms outward as you bring them together at the chest and then over the head. As the hands go up, stretch your head back and arch your back a little bit. Then back. And straighten up. The out-breath, lower the hands to the chest. Fan them back to the sides. Touch the front of the legs. In breath, palms outward to the chest, over the head. Out. Once more. Relax and feel those subtle pulsations, other vibration. Clothing touching the skin. Just remember standing. Stand. There's one last exercise, head turning from right to left. Try not to turn your shoulders when you're doing this, just pivoting the head on the neck vertebrae. If you have a stiff neck, just be careful. On an in-breath, turn your head to the right, as far as you comfortably can. See if you can try to look over your right shoulder. Keep the eyes closed. On the out-breath, turning 180 degrees back to the left. Just concentrating to the neck vertebrae. In-breath back to the right. Out-breath left. In-breath right. Out-breath left. For the next in-breath, stop in the center. Keep the eyes gently closed. Feel the whole body See if you can feel the outline of the standing body in the mind's eye. It's the sense of the feet pressing the floor, hands at the sides, and head on top. Standing, standing, standing. Natural present moment, body centered, aware. Okay, now sit back down. Basically, we're going to continue with the same focus of awareness in the sitting posture. So just once you place your hands somewhere, whether in their lap like this or you have them resting here, try not to move your hands during the whole time. But again, just gently close the eyes and feel the weight of the body pressing the seat. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Feel your hands and fingers touch your legs, touch together. You can feel that subtle pulsation of your hands or fingers. Now try to feel the natural inward curve of the lower lumbar spine. The natural inward curve to it helps to support the weight in the upper body. You might exaggerate that a little bit in the beginning. And then gently lift the back spinal column upwards to imagine some space between the vertebrae so the blood and electrical energy can freely flow through the nervous system. And feel the head balanced on top of the spinal column. And try to keep the chin parallel or level to the floor. Awake posture. Relax the face muscles. You can feel the lips touching together. Feel the nose. Feel the eyes resting in the socket. And the eyelids stretched over the eyeball. And try to feel the hair where it comes out of the scalp. The top of the head. Just try to mentally feel that outline of the sitting body. Try to hold that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. Remembering sitting, sitting, sitting. And again, take a few deep, slow breaths. Feel the more dynamic breathing in the middle of that sitting body. And feel the expansion of the abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. Feel that pause. And feel the relaxing contraction of the out breath. Follow the contraction of the out breath down to the in. Feel the last bit of air go out. And then the next in breath. Just cultivating this basic present moment awareness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Just simply in, sitting. Out, sitting. Now to help develop a more precise concentration, we're going to count the breaths from 1 to 10. Try to follow that as best you can. You can either continue to take deeper, slower breaths, or just the breath in its normal, lesser pattern. Slightly deeper breaths would be better. So on the next in breath, mentally count to 1. On the contracting out breath, also count to 1. The next expanding in breath, count 2. The out breath, 2. Next in breath, 3. Out breath, 3. In breath, 4. Out breath, 4. In breath, 5. Out breath, 5. In breath, 6. Out breath, 6. In breath, 7. Out breath, 7. In breath, 8. Out breath, 8. In breath, 9. Out breath, 9. out breath 10. And completely relax. Just let go of the counting. Don't control the breath any longer. Keep the attention focused in the stomach or abdomen area to feel the lesser and subtler expanding, contracting movement. Just making that your primary focus. Present moment attention. And feel the incoming breath. Just mentally remember in. On the out breath, remember out, out. In the pauses between the breaths, remember that you're sitting. Just in, sitting. Out, out, sitting. The ongoing, continuous connection to the present moment. Here and now. Wakefulness. Try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes it's longer. Sometimes it's shorter. Sometimes you feel it more in the abdomen. Sometimes more in the rib cage, chest. It's always changing. In sitting. Out, sitting. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Even while feeling the breathing process, you can notice other sensations coming and going around and through breathing body, pulsation, prickling sensation. At the same time, be alert for thoughts welling up in the mind, urges. Let go of the thought. Coming back to the breathing body. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. If you have too many thoughts, come back and do more regulated, deeper, slower breathing. Help stay focused. Help stay in the body. Try to notice those short, brief pauses between the breath. After the in-breath, there's a brief pause, just a fraction of a second. And after the out-breath, there's a brief pause. You're alert to the pauses, and you'll be there when the next breath comes in. Or goes out. In, sitting. Out, out, sitting. Ground zero, connection to the present moment. If we lose that connection to the breathing body, present moment, the mind either goes to sleep. It's lost in the sea of conflicting thought, worry, fear, anxiety, greed, anger. This breathing body is like the life preserver, the lifeline to the present moment. The floating present moment. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. Sounds come and go in the background. Thoughts may come and go. The body keeps sitting and breathing. Sitting and breathing. Sitting and breathing. It's the only thing that's always there in our life. This breathing body. Try to feel that organic aliveness. This breathing body. The little sensations coming and going. Pulsations, prickling sensations, little itching, aches or pain. Just try to notice subtler and subtler sensation. Be aware if any urge arises in the mind. Urge to move, urge to think. Stay connected to the body. The urge vanishes. Body keeps sitting and breathing. Now take a deep, slow breath. Straighten up the posture. And place your hands at the edge of the knees. On the next in-breath, stretch your head back and pull the hands against the legs or knees to arch back a little more. Hold that a few moments. And lift the head up, and on an out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest, and stretch the neck vertebrae. On the in-breath, lift chin up level, relax on the out-breath. Keep feeling the body, don't let the mind rush to the future. Feel the feet pressing the floor, the hands touching the legs. The head on top. Okay, now you can begin unfolding your legs if you've been sitting on the floor. If your feet have gone asleep, just be careful. Wiggle your toes a few times to get blood circulation back to the legs or feet. If you're sitting on a chair or otherwise, then stretch the legs out in front. Relieve any stiffness. And we're going to do the yogic